Hi, my name's Peter Lennon, and I run a small marketing consultancy called Consultus Marketing. And today I would like to talk to you about category management and the category management process. Well, the first thing is to understand the category that you're operating within. So, in this example, we're going to talk about the cosmetics category. That's something that I have quite a lot of experience of. So, we'll use that as an example. So, I did quite a lot of work working for Avon Cosmetics. So, I'll use Avon in terms of an example in terms of their customer demographics. So the first thing here on the customer profile is to understand the demographical summary of your customers and how much they spend. That'll be on an annual basis, but that'll also be per monthly campaign. So the demographic of an Avon customer is a mid-market customer, a value seeker. They're probably likely to shop at somewhere like Asda or Morrison's, maybe some customers Sainsbury's for some of the more premium products in the range. So it's to understand who your core primary customer is, which I've just described, and then your potential secondary customer. So your secondary customer may be slightly more mass premium, so they probably are going to shop somewhere like Sainsbury's. They're going to purchase items of a slightly higher price point than your primary customer potentially. In this example, that's what we're going to assume. So whereas your primary customer may seek to pay £5 to £10 for a lipstick, your secondary customer may be prepared to spend a bit more for quality, but they're still a value seeker. So what are their needs? This is really important. So the needs are to look good, if we're talking about lipsticks as an example here, to have a reliable lipstick that stays on for a long time, but it's fundamentally good value for what it is versus other products in the marketplace. When we look at this template, what are their missions? What missions are they on? Well, they want to look good. They feel that looking good is very important to them, but they don't want to spend a fortune for that. So value, again, is very important, but also it's about going out. It's about the reliability of the product as well. So they want a lipstick that can stay on for 8 hours. So they may work. So they may be going to work. They want something that looks good, but is durable as well. If we're talking about a retail format, which Avon doesn't have, so I'll use Boots as an example, it's looking at where your products in certain categories would be in terms of your store formats. So if you had more of a value product in Boots, that's probably like to be in less stores. If you're looking at a competitor like maybe Superdrug, although they've gone up market quite a lot in the last few years. If you're looking at a value supermarket, they may stock a lot more value products, and that would be more prevalent in more of their stores, so it would have a greater depth of distribution. The triggers in terms of what's likely to make somebody buy what's important to them is something else that you should consider as well. So they may buy on promotion. In some product categories, people buy on promotion for 70% of the volume of the category. That's something to consider in terms of designing your promotional calendar and working with your suppliers to do that. If you've got suppliers or if you're a small business, understanding at what periods of the year you're going to promote and how you're going to promote in terms of the deal that you're going to offer and how you're going to activate that if you've got physical stores or if you're online. What are the barriers to purchase? What stops them from buying? Is that on a price basis, but the price is too high? Is that because the products contain chemicals? So the big movement in cosmetics is obviously no chemicals, no colorants, and no artificial fragrances. So these are all things that are really important in the beauty world. So looking at the slide where you've got your category, so we'll say cosmetics, and say your retailer A, you could be online or you could be physical stores. How do you compare for the value of the category that you hold versus the national. So if the category is worth 500 million and you've got 50 million, you have 10% of the category. And then what would your comparable growth be for yourself versus the overall category nationally? Now, obviously, if you're a small business, you can look at data online to compare sort of how you're performing or what growth rates you're seeing year over year, month over month. You can actually look online at sources of data for how you're performing versus other people in the category. You can look at insights, predictive insights for growth rates over the next 1 to 3 years. And then you can look at within your category or your subcategories how well you're performing on a growth basis or a value basis. And then you can get into all sorts of things like ranking your profit. If you're a big national retailer, that's more easy to do. But if you're a smaller business, just understanding your category or subcategories and how they're ranking in terms of value to you, business in pounds or euros or US dollars, but also in terms of their growth rate year over year would be a good example. So you would rank those. So if you were in mass market cosmetics, so you'd have eyes, lips, face, and nails. You'd rank those 4 categories in terms of how you're performing in your business for those. And then what you'd be looking at then is within those categories, you'd be looking at providing a point of difference for customers, for your core customers. So if it's in the lipstick market, do you have a new applicator for lipsticks, which is really quite sort of cutting edge? Or do you provide waterproof mascara? Do you have product ranges that are very in growth in the market and you've got a good exposure to product offerings within those segments of the market? And then when we look at the model here, you're looking at the value and the percentage growth in the top box here. You're looking at the penetration. So if you're a national retailer, you're looking at the amount of households that are coming into your stores or your online business and shopping with you, and the growth rate of those households year over year and month over month. You're looking at average weight of purchase, so the average purchase value, the average amount of items that somebody puts in their basket, and the growth. And then if you multiply the penetration by the average purchase, you're actually going to get the value of your business and the growth rate, which is the top box. If we break it down a bit more, you can look at spend per trip in pounds, euros, or dollars, and the percentage growth of that on an average basis. So if you divide all your customers and then work out their average shopping value, look at the frequency of visits to stores. So if you're a pharmacy, in this example, let's say, and you're selling beauty products, does somebody come in to get their medical script every month? So they're likely to come in 12 times a year if it's a monthly subscription. And then obviously they may purchase products in your shop in addition to their visit for their medicines. And then you'll be looking at the average amount of units that are being sold per visit. Is that growing or declining year over year and month over month potentially? And what's your average price per unit sold? So that's the total amount of physical items that somebody buys divided into the value. So if they buy 5 items as an average and each item is, say, £5, then your average would be £5. If the value of that was £50 and they buy 5, the average purchase unit price is £10 and so on. So I'll just whiz through some of these templates now in terms of category planning and developing a category plan. So the first one is to look at the assessment of your category and to look at what are the big market trends and issues and opportunities. So that's really important. So within the example of cosmetics, it may be eco or vegan cosmetics, and that would be a big growth area. If you're looking at the second question on here, what are the important customers, shoppers in the category and what opportunities exist? So if the economy is growing, there's a growing affluency and increasing disposable income, you may look to premiumize some of your product offerings. You also then should be looking at what opportunities are there on the horizon. So if you get access to market reports, you can find these online sometimes. You can see what elements of your market are growing and develop offerings in those areas as part of your category. So actually looking at the assessment side of things from a sales performance point of view, you'd look at, are there any issues in your category? So is a certain subcategory in decline or not growing? Do you have the correct price points within your category? What can you do to maximize the performance of your overall category and your subcategories as well? And that sort of brings us on to the fifth question here. What are the issues within any subcategories? So as we said before, if we're in cosmetics, it would be eyes, lips, face and nails. So it could be that the nails category is in decline. So what are you going to do about that? That may be introducing a value range, or it may be that there's a gap in the market or there's a gap in your business for premium products. What shopper behaviour explains the under-over performances? And are there any issues or opportunities arising from peak usage periods? So if you don't have availability of products or you've got problems in your supply chain, you could have sold more. You would identify that. You'd probably order more on your next order for that promotion or that seasonality period to make sure that you have stock availability, as an example. Are there any issues with shopper conversion? And then moving on, in terms of looking at the profit, are there any issues with the profitability in the category or the subcategories? Are there any specific product lines where you're not making enough margin, so you need to look at that? Maybe you need to source them for a better price or change supplier. And then number 12 on this slide is, are there any issues or opportunities around category availability? And we touched on that just a minute ago. So, on the tactical things you can look to implement, do you have products within the category that are cannibalizing other products? If so, you can look at rationalizing your products overall in the category. So if you've got an overlap and there's a cannibalization of sales, then you can look to range plan so the category works better for you and you cannibalize sales less. You could look at merchandising positioning. That could be online. So what products have you got at the top of the page? What's on your banner? How are you displaying each subcategory within your business or service? Are there any improvements you can make? Are there any issues to do with pricing levels? So if you analyse volume sales and value sales by different price points, do you see anything where maybe the premium element of your category is struggling? Maybe that's an opportunity to review prices or implement more promotions. But obviously, you'd need to model the margins that you would achieve if you were to discount a lot. How are promotions working? So which promotions are working best? Is it 20% off or buy one, get one free? Or is it buy two, get a free gift? Which ones are working well for you? And you can analyse that. Are there any issues with suppliers or availability from suppliers or packaging or different formats for the product? And then what have other retailers or online retailers done in terms of disrupting the category from a promotions or innovation point of view? And has that had any impact, or could that be an opportunity for you as well? So once you've gone through that process, you then would list down all your key findings around what would influence demand and sales from a unit and a value point of view, but also from a profitability and efficiency point of view. And you'd list down those key findings, as you can see on the table here, and then you can sort of provide supplementary information or deep dive into what you're going to do on the basis of the findings. So when we're actually looking at the category performance summary, it's very much looking at the overall value of the business, so the size by total category and subcategory versus the market. And that's on a volume, a sales value, a growth point of view, and a profit. And you can obviously make any notes around how the business is performing. So then actually looking a little bit more detail in terms of looking at a scorecard almost. On the right-hand side of this table, you can actually see, you can track the financial performance of the revenue, the gross margin percentage, and where you need that to be versus last year to this year, and by quarter. And you can even break that down by month or week as well. Large businesses will report weekly in terms of this. You can look at the estimated sort of share of the market. So if you're on eBay or Amazon, you can try and work out, how many unit volume sales you're achieving versus your competitors, because that's information you can find. And you can work out some of the other metrics around availability of your products, average purchase size, average basket. You can do that very easily online or offline. And then ultimately, what you're actually looking to do is you're looking to detail what sub-customer segments you've got in your category that are buying from you, and how you can fulfill their need, and what impact your tactics will have to drive the performance of revenue or margin, etc. So then you can break all of that down into developing some micro strategies within your category to address some of the issues that you found in your audit, which we've covered in some of the previous slides. I'm not going to go through all of this in detail. If you are interested in talking to me further about that, I'm more than happy to provide or even develop you with a category plan for your business or your service, and I can work you through this process in more detail. But essentially, it's looking to have micro strategies for your business. So, example, maybe one to premiumize product offerings because there's a growth in the market in more premium products. It may be to implement an own brand like a value range. It may be to tweak a certain element of a service. If you're a restaurant, for instance, you may do buy a main and a starter and then get a free dessert. You may implement that as a promotion. There's many different things that you can do. And then ultimately what you're looking to do in terms of when you're developing your sub-strategies, you'll have a macro strategy, and then you'll break down sort of tactics or smaller strategies to help drive your category. You're looking at your target shoppers, the barriers that you would need to overcome, any triggers that you need to activate your plans, behavioural changes, that may be social changes or technological changes, what products you want to focus on in terms of delisting or gaining increased exposure to, or working with different suppliers. And this is all on the basis of understanding your business, but also how the market's performing. And then you'll be looking at key tactics that you can implement as a result of maybe some of the threats that you see, but also the opportunities. And ultimately, what you're looking to do is you're looking to please the people that you buy from, if you're sourcing products from them, or if you're a service, please your employees, so you're providing a better place to work. You're looking to grow your business performance, sales, profitability, and productivity, efficiency. And you're looking to please your customers, which is really important. So within your overall category and your subcategories, there'll always be like what we call shopper statements, and that'll be things where the consumers want certain things please them. So it may be I look for products that are durable and will last me a long time on a night out. So it may be a long-lasting mascara or a lipstick. I seek value. I'm more likely to buy on promotion as opposed to on a regular price. So therefore, you would need regular promotions. I'm not going to go through everything on shopper statements, but they're really important in terms of understanding your customers' needs and wants.